This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
You're listening to Tuesday's episode of The Archers from BBC Radio 4.
You do enjoy an apple, don't you, Sally? I think your nails will need clipping soon.
Afternoon, Lynda.
Oh!
Robert said you were out here, seeing to your lovely llamas.
I wasn't expecting you till 3.
I know I'm early, but I didn't think it mattered. We're only having a bit chat about the fete, aren't we?
Excuse me?
Not running the Bank of England.
You can come closer, Joy. Sally Eyre is very friendly.
I'm all right here, thanks.
Organising the Ambridge fete is a considerable responsibility. Anyone wishing to join the committee needs to appreciate that.
Oh, I know, Pet.
Sally, what's the matter now?
I'll tell you what it is. I bet he's caught a whiff of me butterfly buns.
I haven't had a chance to find them yet, Lee.
Oh, OK.
Sorry.
No worries, Adam. It's cheeky of me asking.
Not at all. I'm just running late.
I buy my own G-clamps, but with everything else we've been forking out for at Beechwood. I've had to buy some MDF and rock wool for the riser. Luckily, I have a bit of old carpet that'll go right round, but if lending me the clamps isn't convenient...
It's fine. I'll get them in a minute.
Oh, thanks. It's only for a day or two. Making a drum riser looks quite easy, even for me.
That's the filter done. Just need to put some oil in.
It's going to make such a difference, having the kit on something soundproof.
Uh-huh.
You use tennis balls and rock wool between the layers of MDF. Yeah, don't want to drive Helen mad practising, or Joy. She's such a helpful neighbour. It's been great picking up the sticks again. Have you ever had a go on the drums?
No.
Oh, it's brilliant for getting your aggression out. And I've a little bit of time between clients at the Laurels.
It's just the oil, and I need to get some air in before I start picking up cherry crates.
Oh, yeah. I saw Rory in the shop. He says he's picking cherries this week. He's made up to finish school, isn't he? Oh, I couldn't wait to get away from school at his age. If you like, I can go and get the clamps myself.
It's all right.
That saves you doing it. If they're anywhere obvious.
Look, give me 2 minutes, and I'll get the damn clamps, all right?
Forget it. Bad time, obviously.
No, sorry. I'm so sorry, Lee. It's not you I should be shouting at.
Oh, you're right, Lynda. It's a lot easier talking here without your llamas sniffing round.
Well, Sally Eyre was simply taking an interest. He does that with everyone.
You're blessed having such a lovely garden for sitting out.
Indeed. Now, perhaps the best way to start assessing your suitability for the fete committee is if I outline the qualities we're looking for.
Go right ahead.
I'm afraid there's no room for passengers, so we do have to set very high standards.
I quite understand, Lynda.
I'd much rather you realise that now, if it's not going to be quite your métier.
Oh, you're not having a bun with your tea?
Perhaps later. But do help yourself, Joy.
Oh, no, thanks. I'm giving cakes a rest at the minute.
Oh?
Still trying to lose the little bit weight I put on during lockdown.
Like quite a few others in Ambridge.
I find it so hard to resist anything with jam in.
They do look rather sweet.
The dentist's best friend, I used to tell Rochelle, me daughter.
Yes.
But she could always talk me into baking another batch. I suppose you could call them my signature dish.
I see.
Like Marcus Rashford's fish finger sandwiches.
The ideal committee member needs imagination. We have to keep the fete fresh each year.
Oh, yes.
Combined with perseverance, never letting problems get you down, no matter how big they seem.
Do things often go wrong with the fete?
Oh, all the time. You wouldn't believe the trouble we had with the whack-a-mole one year.
That's one of my favourites.
And, of course, committee members need a real ability to motivate other people, whether it's drumming up volunteers for stalls or luring in customers. You can't be a shrinking violet, Joy.
I suppose not.
We need as much publicity as possible if we're to maximise our impact.
Do you know, one time I'd be making nearly 100 of these a week. Grew sick of the sight of them.
Butterfly bun?
Yes, at the height of Rochelle's baton twirling.
I'm sorry?
She was a majorette when she was younger, a twirler. You don't have much of that in Borsetshire, do you?
Not that I'm aware of.
Believe me, once you've seen some high-class twirling, you soon stop being impressed with the Edgley Morris dancers.
Edgley Morris have been a highlight of our fates for some years.
And Chuff Halfpenny was all the rage at one time. But the point about the buns, selling them kept the whole of Rochelle's troupe in leotards and fringes. That and a weekly meat raffle round the pubs.
You raised the money for the girls' outfits?
I set the whole troupe up from scratch, more or less. There was already another one nearby, but they wouldn't take Rochelle on.
No.
I couldn't get through to them. She was only insecure, not bad-tempered. You should have seen her sad little face when I told her. So what else could I do?
Well, that's very interesting, but to get back to
It
the
was scary to start off with. But I soon talked some of the other mums into stitching and sewing for us. Strong-armed a couple of dads into driving once we started going into competitions.
Oh, you became quite proficient?
We were unstoppable. Once we paired up with a marching band, never out of the free paper. Especially when we had our banners and batons stolen.
No.
I'm afraid so. The minibus was only parked up 5 minutes while we were fetching ice creams.
How awful.
It meant I had to start all over again. Go round cap in hand all our local businesses. But I did it. We didn't miss a single week's practice.
So you have got some experience of fundraising?
Plenty. With every penny going into pom-poms and sparkle. Until Rochelle discovered boys and it all fizzled out. Oh, but listen to me, yammering on. Remind me, Lynda, what are the qualities I need to join the committee?
Brian didn't get it. But if it was an oversight...
Of course it was.
He didn't see that.
Didn't want to. He virtually accused me of stealing the money.
What?
That's what he was implying. It started getting very nasty.
People can say stupid things in an argument.
Oh, he said a lot of stupid things yesterday. Told me I'd been really deceitful, sneaking behind his back.
That doesn't help.
Oh, don't worry. I gave as good as I got. Asked him what kind of thief he thinks I am. I hadn't exactly set up an offshore account to funnel the money into.
You just transferred it to your own bank?
No, it went straight to the electrician. I wasn't trying to hide anything. But when Jerry's bill came in, it had gone quite a lot over estimate.
They always do, don't they?
Yeah, well, there'd been problems, routing out channels in the living room and kitchen. Ian and I wanted the bill out of the way, so I took the money from the machinery investment account, just as a short-term fix.
Meaning to repay it?
Of course I was going to. Only Brian blew up like he'd caught me dipping my fingers in the till. It was nothing like that.
I'm sure it wasn't.
I told him I'd been planning to request an advance on drawings at a partnership meeting. He just sneered and wondered why I hadn't got round to it yet.
He didn't accept you'd been too busy.
No, it wasn't just that. We were discussing major changes in livestock policy. It got quite heated. It wasn't the right moment, so I ended up letting it slide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brian had offered a contribution when we got the electrics done. I said no then, because I didn't want him thinking Ian and I couldn't manage perfectly well, working part-time. Bringing it up at a partnership meeting so soon after would look like eating my own words.
Right.
And with Brian completely distracted by Alice since then, I've pretty much had to run the farm by myself. Is it any wonder it wasn't top of my to-do list?
I guess not.
I admit it was a silly administrative error.
Right.
And I was going to apologise yesterday, but I didn't get the chance.
Why not?
Brian wouldn't shut up. And then Eli turned up, wanted a hand shifting some lambs. Brian stomped off with a face like thunder. We haven't spoken since.
What's Ian's take on it?
Oh, he doesn't know yet. Please don't say anything.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, at the time, I told him I'd sort out the electrician. He was a bit anxious he wasn't bringing enough money in. I'll let him know, if and when Brian ever comes back to his senses.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Good question. I know if any of the others made a similar mistake, Kate, Debbie, Rory, or Alice, he wouldn't be like this. Some of the stuff they've put us through. But Brian never blows up at them like he does with me.
Oh, that's tough. Especially, as you say, it was an administrative error more than anything. What sort of money are we talking about?
Oh, nothing big, about $5,000.
5,000?
But it's not the money, Lee, it's the principle.
Oh, that's a bonny little thing fluttering about.
It's a male common blue. The bird's foot trefoil attracts them.
Oh, no. A funny thing happened to Rochelle with butterflies.
So
once.
if you're still interested, Joy...
In helping with the fete? Of course I am. If you'll have me.
Well, I think we can take a chance. For this year, at least.
Champion.
Though I should warn you, you'll find a considerable gulf between organising a few majorette events and running a substantial enterprise like the Ambridge Village Fete.
Oh, I haven't even told you about my decoupage circle, have
That
I?
won't be necessary. I'll let you know once we've set a date for the first meeting.
Oh, thanks.
And I expect the first time you'll just want to come along and sit quietly, getting the feel of the meeting.
I can't wait, Lynda.
We look forward to you joining us.
Thanks. And Rochelle will be thrilled how interested you are in our twirling days. She'll have to give you a demonstration when she comes down. If she sets her mind to it, she can still spin a baton like there's no tomorrow.
As far as I'm concerned, Brian can go on stewing.
You aren't willing to make the first move?
Well, why should I? He's the one at fault.
Well...
Of course he is.
Calling you a thief was outrageous, but 5,000's a lot of money.
It's peanuts in our business.
I'd struggle to find it.
It only came up because Brian wants to take a much larger sum out to help Alice, which I'm all in favour of. But after the havoc she's caused, you'd think it cut me a little slack.
The trouble is, if you let things fester, they're only going to get worse between you.
His choice.
You don't think there might be faults on both sides?
What?
But you said yourself you slipped up by not telling him.
I forgot.
Okay, but it didn't help. And if you haven't paid the money back after 3 months...
I'm going to. As an advance from the profit share. Or get it from a bank.
That might not be a bad idea.
But I'll do it when I'm ready. I'm not going to be bullied into it. Look, I'm sorry. We should get the clamps.
That's fine. Probably don't have time to start on the riser before I go back to the Laurels now.
You won't say anything to anyone, will you?
No, of course not.
I definitely don't want Mum to get wind of it. She's upset about Alice already. Or Ian.
I'm not saying anything to anyone.
Thanks. Now, we'll get the clamps, and you can head off.
Okay. But, Adam...
What?
Tell me to shut up. But if I were you, I'd put the money back as soon as I could. And maybe make the apology you didn't get the chance to do yesterday.
Yeah.
But it would help Brian see that you want to make things right. And maybe you can both move on.